I take this opportunity to heartily congratulate Musa Ali for his election as the new chairperson of the Africa Union Commission, and allow me to commend His Excellency Musa Faki, our outgoing chairperson, and His Excellency Joseka Sako, right here with us, Africa Union Commissioner for Agriculture, Rural Development, Blue Economy, and Sustainable Development, for their exceptional leadership in advancing Africa's climate agenda and strengthening this committee's work. The withdrawal of the United States from the Paris Agreement and the rise of far-right leadership in key economies could prove a major obstacle to climate cooperation and financing. Moreover, 2024 was the first year the world breached the 1.5 degrees Celsius threshold, a stark warning with unpredictable consequences. Despite these changes and challenges, Africa must remain proactive, defend multilateralism, and demand the fulfillment of international obligations. The submission of new nationally determined contributions this year offers a strategic opportunity. Our updated plans must scale up renewable energy expansion, accelerate the transition away from fossil fuels, and align with African leaders' Nairobi Declaration and COP20 and COP decisions. Ladies and gentlemen, I have presented a report that I would want to make reference, that it be a reference as some key elements, including the meeting we had in New York, are not reflected in that report. I want to ask the Secretariat here at the AU to work with my team so that we can ensure that the report ultimately reflects the decisions that we made in New York and other intervening meetings that took place, so that we can have a comprehensive report to take us into the future. I encourage us all to build on our achievements, amplify our collective voice, and position Africa as a leader in global climate solutions. We made significant strides in the global climate discourse. The Nairobi Leaders' Declaration adopted by the AU Assembly continues to guide Africa's engagement on climate change. At COP29, African leaders, ministers, and negotiators presented a united front on our key priorities. While the COP29 outcomes fell short of our expectations, particularly in setting a 1.3 trillion climate finance goal, multilateralism delivered some key wins. Notably, Africa's concerns over debt sustainability and the high cost of capital for climate action were acknowledged in the final decisions. COP29 also generated critical momentum through high-level events and strategic partnerships for African-led climate initiatives, including the Measuring the Green Wealth of Africa's event in Baku, led by the presidents of Republic of Congo and the African Development Bank, which emphasized the urgent need to properly value Africa's abundant natural capital. There was also the Africa Green Industrialization Initiative and Accelerated Partnership for Renewables in Africa, both of which seek to unlock Africa's renewable energy potential to drive industrial transformation. To institutionalize these initiatives effectively, I am pleased to report that the Africa Continental Free Trade Area Secretariat has agreed to support the implementation of the AGAI initiative in collaboration with key partners. Allow me also to commend the government of Tanzania for successfully hosting Mission 300 event in Dar es Salaam last month. This initiative aims to accelerate Africa's energy access by 2030, and I urge this forum to endorse its outcome. Looking ahead, 2025 presents both opportunities and challenges for Africa's climate action agenda. We must capitalize on the following key areas and moments. The second Africa Climate Summit. following the AU Assembly's decision for a biannual summit, ACS, or Africa Climate Summit, will provide a critical platform to assess progress, show lessons, and strengthen collaboration. We will agree at this forum where we are going to hold the next Africa Climate Summit. If there is a country that is willing to host, it is okay with us. If there is none, Kenya will be happy to host the second Africa Climate Summit. The fourth International Conference on Financing, that's number 2, for development, presents a key opportunity to accelerate the implementation of the 2030 agenda, particularly in pushing for international financing reforms. Number 3, South Africa's G20 presidency, combined with the AU's G20 membership, offers a strategic opening to advance Africa's collective interests on climate finance and debt relief. Number 4, COP30 in Brazil is a pivotal moment to push for ambitious global climate action, rebuild trust, and enhance international cooperation. Number 5, the Baku-Belém roadmap is a crucial initiative to mobilize the 1.3 trillion necessary for climate action, particularly adaptation financing. Dear colleagues, we enter 2025 amid major geopolitical and economic shifts. The global climate for cooperation and solidarity is weakening in the face of multiplicity of policy changes in the West, including cuts in aid and diminishing support for multilateral institutions, a rise in protectionism and nationalist policies that threaten trade and investment flows, as well as escalating trade tariffs that impact Africa's economic and environmental priorities.
Africa needs to invest between 7 to 15 billion US dollars per year by 2030 to enhance its ability to adapt to climate change. If the planet heats up by 2 degrees Celsius, climate change could cost African countries as much as $50 billion annually by 2050. Therefore, it is crucial to act now to mitigate the risk and prepare for impact of the climate change. We have just returned from Baku for COP29 meeting, where we have been working together to defend the interests of the African continent. Commitment to finance climate actions has, however, remained elusive. In the beginning, African countries wanted developed nations to provide 1.3 trillion US dollar per year in climate finance to developing countries, including Africa. Starting in 2025, the new Africa finance, the new climate finance, global is of $300 billion annually by 2035 is insufficient to address the scale of the climate crisis, including adaptation needs and for the loss and damage that is not really going into action up to now. It is disappointing that we did not see much progress on loss and damage fund in COP29 in Baku, especially regarding the scale, scope, and eligibility criteria. In addition, we did not see much advancement in low development countries who help developing countries reduce Africa's debt burden and ensure climate justice. Significantly strengthening efforts to support clean energy transition. We saw limited progress on adaptation. The COP29, especially in defining indicators for the global goal on adaptation, but key decisions were postponed to COP30 in Brazil this year. Having seen some deficiency in COP29 decision, we must strategize and defend our position as we move to COP30. The involvement of African Ministerial Conference on Environment, AMSEN, and the African Group of Negotiators, all under the leadership of the Committee of Head of State and Government on Climate Change, CHAOS, the African Union climate change strategy and the Nairobi Declaration should be the cornerstone of the African common position going to COP30 and beyond. These organs and frameworks are critical to creating a robust mechanism to champion the interests of Africa.